What's going on, y'all? Psych Perspectives, GeoFucks here. I don't know which channel this is going on. It might go on both. It might go on one or the other. But in this video, what we're going to be discussing is cis men, cisgendered men, regardless of their sexuality, regardless of their race, ethnicity, class, status, education, doesn't matter. When it comes to dealing with cisgendered men, you got to realize something. What you let slide will be the reason why the relationship doesn't work, whether that's a friendship, a romantic relationship, a platonic, a business, a sexual, whatever relationship you have with them. They are very, and I'm just going to go on and say it, they're very manipulative and vindictive and just straight up toxic and dysfunctional a lot of times. And it's not by nature, it's by how they're raised. When you look at how a lot of cisgendered men are socialized as cisgendered boys, it's very toxic. It's toxic masculinity 101. You know, on one side, you're telling him that he can't cry and he can't be vulnerable. And, you know, if he does show any type of crying or vulnerability, you're questioning his sexuality. He's being feminine. But then you wonder why these same cisgendered boys grow into these cisgendered men who are violent, aggressive, sexual predators, you know, vindictive, manipulative, physically and mentally abusive. It starts at home by how they are socialized. I'm just going to throw it on out there. Okay, but to the gist of this video, when it comes to dealing with cisgendered men, you really have to set firm boundaries right then and there, because again, the way they're socialized to be predators. It is what it is. You know, they don't respect other people's boundaries. They are constantly pushing against the people's boundaries and trying to get their way, and that's because that's how they're raised. They're raised to be assertive and domineering to the extreme. You know what I mean? To the point where you're literally sexually assaulting people. You're physically assaulting people. You don't take into consideration other people's needs. You don't even care about other people half the time. You're basically sociopaths, you know, at this point. I mean, I'm just being honest. When you look at how a lot of these cis men are, it's ridiculous. So I had a situation, again, you know me, I'm really big on this. You have to set boundaries, and a lot of times you need to learn how to cut cis men and anybody who acts like this, because women can be the same way. Trans men, trans women, feminine folks, masculine people can have these traits. It just seems that cisgendered men, because of their socialization, tend to be the ones that participate in this more often. I'm just keeping it real. But to get to the point, it is, you have to basically know when to cut them off. And a lot of times, the first red flag should be when you should cut them off. All of this, giving somebody numerous opportunities to show you that they're not about shit, is ridiculous. And especially when you get older. You know, you're not 18 anymore. You're not 20. You're not 25. I'm about to be 30. So as you get older, these are things that you start realizing, these are deal breakers, because this is a pattern of behavior. And you got to figure out for yourself what you, as an individual, regardless of your gender, sexuality, what have you, as an individual, what are you willing to put up with? Okay? And a lot of times with cis men, they're going to keep pushing the envelope. Narcissistic people, regardless of gender, sexuality, are going to keep pushing the envelope, because it's almost like a test to see, well, if I can I do this with them? Can I do that? If they let me do this, then I know I can do that. They're trying to see how far they can go with you. And that's why a lot of times you need to be willing to cut them off from the first red flag, because you got to start asking yourself, is this something that I want to be dealing with on a continual basis? And a lot of times when you're dealing with these types of people, that's what they're going to do, and the situation is just going to get worse and worse and worse. You know, and a lot of people look at me like, well, you're being negative, you're stereotyping, you're generalizing. Child, how many of us have been dealing with men, masculine people, and then in particular cisgendered men, who constantly, it start off with, we're just getting to know each other. We 2 weeks into getting to know each other, and I done already caught on to how many damn red flags? Again, you got to ask yourself, do you want to continue to put up with that? And I'm sorry, but I've already been through this before 4 years ago. No, not interested. Your ass is getting kicked to the motherfucking curb, and I don't give a damn. Ain't nobody got time. Because again, You are the one bringing problems to yourself by sticking around and dealing with these toxic ass people. Okay, so back to the similar situation. You having a good time with a person, you're having sex, or you're engaging in sexual intercourse, whatever it is. Cisgendered men have such a hard time respecting other people's boundaries and respecting the fact that we don't want to have unprotected sex with your ass. Don't nobody want to be having unwanted kids with you. Don't nobody want to have STDs, STIs. And again, cis men don't seem to care, but yet will be the main ones bitching and moaning about child support when your stupid ass could have wore a condom, but you choose not to wear condoms. And then you're always doing shit on the slide. They'll sit up here and basically try to sneak in without using condoms. They don't ask you, and they know good and damn well all these previous times that y'all have messed around, every occasion has been a condom. Why would you think randomly you finna slide up in here with no condom? Again, they don't respect you or your boundaries, and that's really what it's all about. And if somebody doesn't respect you with boundaries, that's a predator. And quite frankly, if you're having sex with somebody and they've told you they only want to use condoms, and then you decide that you're not going to use condoms, that is literally sexual assault, because it's not consented. The person did not consent to have unprotected sex with you. And that's why when you really think about it, we need to start reporting these men and calling the police. And that's real, because that's sexual assault. You didn't have consent to do what you did. And this is what they do. And until they start feeling the hardcore repercussions of their behaviors, it's never going to change. This is why, quite frankly, if you're dealing with a cis man, get you a gun. And I mean that. Get you a gun, because you might need to take his useless ass out. And I mean that. Because they're violent, aggressive, abusive, vindictive. They don't respect people. They don't respect themselves. And then every time you turn around, oh, you guys are being mean to us. You're literally out here sexually assaulting people left and right. You're physically assaulting people left and right. You're killing the mothers of your children left and right. You guys are a problem. And it's not by nature, it's by the socialization. This is why all of that, oh, he can't cry, and you're constantly telling him to be a man, man up, which is AKA be violent, be aggressive. These are negative traits. You don't want them behaving like that, because again, they're going to grow up a lot of times to be these very aggressive, vindictive, toxic, narcissistic, ego-tripping as hell men. And that is not a good look. And a lot of this is highly avoidable by how you are raising your children, raising your cisgendered boys. You're raising them to be serial killers. I'm just being honest. You're raising them to be sexual predators. You're raising them to be violent and aggressive. You're not raising them to be quality, decent human beings at all. You know, there's no mistake that cis men are typically the ones that's the child molester, that's the rapist, that's the mass shooter. You know what I mean? It is what it is. People who are in relationships with cis men are more likely to be killed by their cis male counterpart. It is what it is. There's no, I mean, damn, cis men kill each other at alarming rates. So you got to think to yourself, if this is how they're acting with each other, and like I said, the data, the facts, the statistics are out there. It's not like we're just making this shit up. It comes a time where we just have to keep it real. You're more likely to be in a domestic violence situation with a cis male. And a lot of that goes back to how they're raised. So I was dealing with this individual, and like I said, he literally decided, oh, well, all these times we hooked up 2 times prior. And each time we hooked up, condoms. You know what I mean? I'm very upfront with that. I'm on PrEP. I take a daily pill for PrEP, pro-exposure prophylaxis, to prevent yourself from contracting HIV. I use condoms. I get tested on a regular basis, at least once every 3 months. Get a full STD, STI panel, blood work, oral swab, anal swab, vaginal swab, the whole 9 yards, depending on what type of sex you're engaging in, right? Lubrication, etc. Doing all of these harm reduction methods to avoid potentially contracting an STD, STI, to avoid and I have an IUD, as a trans man, trans masculine person, born intersex. I have an IUD. Literally next month, I'll be getting my hysterectomy. Thank the Lord. August 31st. Take this. Woo! But yes, so these are things that I do to protect myself and to protect other people that I'm engaging with, right? This person takes it upon themselves. Oh, I'm just going to slide on in. I didn't consent to that. And that's what I mean by this is sexual assault, and we need to call it for what the fuck it is. You feel me? Instead of sitting up here, oh, well, he didn't mean it. No, he meant it. Stop giving these losers every damn excuse in the book to be aggressive, violent, and abusive, and to disrespect you and your boundaries. There's no more excuses for these niggas. And I'm just throwing it out there. I don't have it in me anymore. You know what I mean? And like I said, if you're dealing with these types, get you a gun, get you a CPL, get you a CCW, whatever licenses that you need to do, whatever mental health screen checks that you need to do, get those done, and then practice. Practice makes perfect. Go to the range, practice shooting, practice aiming, practice loading your gun, practice cleaning your gun, practice using it in the holster and pulling it out. Practice what you need to do. Take self-defense classes. You feel me? Because 9 times out of 10 with these types, you might have to take his ass out next time. And don't care. Because next time, I'll be the first to say, I will blow a cap in your ass and not give a fuck. Because you are useless scum the vast majority of the damn time. And again, what you let slide will continue. I don't give a damn if they a woman, a cis woman, a cis man, a trans woman, a LGBTQ plus, cisgendered, heterosexual. I don't care. When you're dealing with human beings, what you let slide will continue. And in many cases, especially if they're narcissistic and sociopathic, psychopathic, these types will continue to push and push and push because they really are testing you in the first damn place to see what you're willing to put up with. And then, like I said, there's just so many red flags about this person because literally the minute I met them, they're already bashing their ex. And like a lot of times when you're dealing with narcissistic people, that's what they do. They come in and they play victim, especially the covert narcissistic folks, the covert narcissists. They will sit up and play all of these mind games and make it seem like they're a damsel in distress and everybody's out to get them and everyone hurts them. So they'll come in bashing their exes. Pay attention. Literally, I just met you. Why would you be starting the situation off talking about who you were previously with? Like, why is that even the first conversation? Red flag. And like I said, I'm just at the point where I don't have time anymore for the bullshit. So yesterday we were texting and I just straight up told him, like, look, bro, the other day I did not consent to that. And we never were having sex. The 2 prior times that we hooked up, we were never having sex without condoms. I don't know why you thought that was okay to do. And quite frankly, I'm done with you. There's no more conversation. I'm not going to be talking to you. I don't want to text you. I don't want shit to do with you. And I moved it just like that. And of course, he's like, oh, well, I don't give a flying fuck. When it comes to dealing with cis men and toxic ass, dysfunctional, narcissistic, don't give a damn about you or your boundaries types people, you need to cut their asses off the first red flag. Because like I said, you will notice this is a pattern of behavior. Another thing is with coverts, I feel like they overshare things that you don't need to be talking about on the first, you're just getting to know a person, and yet you're giving me literally a play-by-play timeline of your entire life, and I've only been knowing you for 2 weeks. Red flag. Another thing that needs to be brought up is how he would just constantly text. Oh, when we gonna hang out? I've already told you I'm busy. I've already told you once, you're a grown-ass person. I shouldn't have to keep telling you 2 and 3 times that I'm busy. Again, you don't respect people's boundaries. You don't respect people's time. You're constantly a damn nitpick and a bugaboo. You're too pushy. You're just doing too much. And again, when you're dealing with narcissistic types, this is what they do. It's called love bombing. That's why they want to rush into every damn thing. Again, I shouldn't know your entire fucking history in 2 weeks. And then, like I said, every time we hang out, you're bashing your ex. You're complaining about your ex. But then in the same breath, your ex was just here, a couple of days ago. Your ex just popped up and y'all hung out. You see what I'm saying? You got to start picking up on the red flags with these types. You know, again, you got to pick up on the red flags. This is the shit that they do. You're hanging out with your ex just decided to randomly pop up and drop off clothes and stuff to you, but yet you spent this entire 2 weeks complaining about how they were users and they used you and they played you and blah, 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 blah. And a lot of times when you're dealing with narcs, everything that they're accusing their ex of doing is what they actually did. So that's why I said you got to really start, red flag, red flag, red flag, you're out. It's been three strikes, you're out. And really, the first time, you're out. And that's why, as you can see, within 2 weeks, in 14 days, I was able to spot that bullshit from a mile away. And I ended it just like that yesterday. No fucks giving, because again, I'm about to be 30. I don't have time to have a repeat of my 20s. Been there, done that, not interested. You see what I'm saying? And then on top of that, I don't want to be dealing with somebody that has all of these issues. It is what it is. I'm at a totally different place in my life, and you need to either be matching me or be better than me. I'm not interested in dealing with a build a nigga workshop, build a bitch workshop, build a bear workshop. I'm not interested in dealing with somebody that doesn't really have what I'm on. I'm not doing that. You know what I mean? So it's just, and then too, I'm non-monogamous, and I was just listening to the stuff that he's talking about, and he just seems like a very clingy person. And if most narcissistic people, and let's be real, most cis men are very codependent, and it's very toxic, because you should not be up your partner's ass 24/7. And just listening to how he was discussing and describing his relationship, the entire relationship was literally like he was attached at the hip to the person he was with, you know. And it's just like, yeah, and just the way you bombard me with texts and all that shit, red flag. I'm not about to be hanging out with you every day. I'm not going to be talking to you every day. I'm not even going to see you every day. Hell, I could go a week or two without even talking to your ass, because again, we're not together. I just met you. You are too much. Okay, so bye-bye. Just like that. Cut off game, just like that. And I don't care anymore, because like I said, I've already been through this type of shit before, and once you start noticing this shit, it makes it so much easier for you to spot the inconsistencies and red flags and cut these toxic ass people off. Don't waste your time. Life is too short to be sitting up miserable with somebody. I'll tell you that any day. I'd rather be by my damn self every day than to be sitting up dealing with some narcissistic, dysfunctional person that doesn't respect you or your boundaries. Okay? I don't have time for that. Then when we had went to the park, and the park was really nice. It was really nice, you know, nice vibe. But again, the entire time you're talking about your ex and what they did and what they should have done and how they played you and they used you and blah, blah, blah. And then, of course, then you went into talking about how you were with somebody, you know, 13 years ago. Y'all weren't together, but y'all had sex, had unprotected sex, and the person may or may not got pregnant and had either an abortion or a miscarriage, something, and was like, thank God I don't have, you know, because I wasn't ready for that, but I do want to have kids, and blah, blah. And you notice, again, cis men, they never use condoms, but then they're always fucking surprised when unwanted kids come, or they catch something. What do you expect? So again, all of these are red flags. Thank God I have an IUD. Thank God I'm getting hysterectomy. Thank God I take PrEP daily, Truvada daily. Thank God I get tested on a consistent basis. Thank God I have universe, you know, thank God, thank the universe, thank the ancestors, thank healthcare, thank science, whatever you believe in or whatever you follow, right? Whatever you support. Because you really have to take all of these precautions when you're dealing with them. It is what it is. It's like, God, they are literally walking diseases at this point. Because it's like every time you turn around, you either got to worry about them being physically or sexually abusive, financially abusive, mentally abusive. You have to worry about them cheating and lying, which, again, why are you lying about shit when you're not even with the person? And then these are the same types that are, oh, I want a monogamous relationship, yet they're not monogamous. at least I'm upfront about my shit. You know, I let you know that I'm not monogamous. I'm non-monogamous, I'm single, and I'm not looking for a committed relationship. But you know, with narcs, they try to love bomb and lock you down right then and there. So that's why I said you got to pay attention to the shit. So I'm just thankful that I was able to cut that off very quickly. I was able to spot the red flags, the inconsistencies, the clinginess, you know, the oversharing, the constantly bringing up your ex to complain about them, but then somehow y'all are hanging out. And see, that's the thing. They don't think you're paying attention to the shit that they're doing. And that's why I'm very big on pay attention to the person's actions over their words, because they love to talk. But you'll notice their actions do not, like, match any of the things that they're telling you. You know, just like how this person was, like, you know, talking about how he's, you know, hardworking and serious and blah, blah, blah. But yet your mom has to call you to remind you that you have to go to work in the morning. That's not being responsible. And then keep in mind, this person, again, is 3 years older than me, because I'm still 29. They're 32. So if you're, you know what I mean? It's just a lot of things that you got to start paying attention to. And stop, you know, trying to justify why people are doing the things they're doing. Stop trying to change people. Accept them for who they are and recognize this is probably someone I don't want to be wasting my time with. Okay? So yeah, I'm just glad that I was able to get away from that. And get away from that early. I mean, damn. I'm telling you, when you spot the red flags, be thankful that you spot them, okay? But yeah, information on covert narcissists, sociopaths, psychopaths, manipulative behaviors and tactics, toxic dysfunctional behaviors and tactics, especially in the dating situation or getting to know a person. Looking into all that. And again, if you have not consented to unprotected sex and that person still does it, that is sexual assault. And it is what it is. We need to stop sitting up letting shit slide. I'm out.